before we learn to actually do statistic, let's define a few things that we will encounter over and over again in this course as well as in other statistic course that you may take. So first off, what is statistics? So statistic is the collection, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data to answer questions. Now, the type of questions that we're interested in answering in statistics can be very simple or very complex. An example of a simple question is one where I would like to know the average height of all Econ 3402 students. That's a fairly simple problem for me to do, right? On the other hand, a question can be complex. For example, people try to determine whether a drug is effective at treating a disease, right? Next, we define data. So data is just information that is collected. Okay. In other words, data is numbers and their meanings. Okay. So when you collect information, you not only want to get the numerical values, but you also want to get the meaning behind those values, right? For example, if somebody came to me and gave me five numbers, 60, 55, 57.5, 62.5, and 65. Those numbers mean nothing to me, right? Because I don't know what they mean, right? I don't know what they represent. But if the person told me that's the heights of in inches of five students in Econ 3402, then I know what they mean, right? So it's crucial that when you collect data, you collect not only the numerical values, but also the meanings. And then we have a notion of a data set. So a data set is just a collection of data. Okay. Then we also have element. Okay. So an element is the entity on which data are collected. And then observation is defined as all the data that are collected for any element. Okay. Okay, so let's look at an example. So what I have here is the records of the West Georgia football team. So I have the number of wins, right, the number of losses, and the number of ties from 2001 to 2018. Right? So this whole thing is what I call a data set. Okay. The element, which is the entity on which data are collected, is the year, right? Because we have record for each year, and an observation for, say, 2005 is 7 wins, 4 losses, and 0 ties. So an observation contains all the data that are collected for any given element, right? So for 2005, we have data on the number of wins, the number of losses, and the number of ties. So this is an observation for 2005. Okay. Notice that I have data, right? I have a bunch of numbers, and I know their meaning. So this second column here gives you the number of wins. This third column gives you the number of losses, and this last column gives you the number of ties. So you collect not only the numbers but also their meanings.